Paul Daugherty's good.
Paul Doc, the morning line. No lid today. Where is the lid, Doc? I mean, if you're going to be pubbing the morning line and the return of the morning line, and it's themorningline.substack.com, I mean, where's the lid?
I gave it a rest. If we're going to talk about what's cool and what's not cool, pimping the product is cool to a certain extent. After a while, it just looks stupid. So no more pimping the product. No more lid. You guys can wear one,
Doc, I got to tell you, look, I mean, there is a point where I understand what you're saying. But, I mean, we've got hundreds dialed in regularly, and they love the TML hat. And so these are the guys that are watching it and joining us live every day, and they're not tired of it. So just a little FYI.
Well, okay. I mean, I got to give the people what they want.
That's right.
Maybe next week, the next time I'm on, the hat will return. But this week I gave it a rest because I like to think I'm cool.
Okay. All right. Well, the word is drip, Doc. The word is drip with the young people there. As I'm trying to find out, working around all these young people, I'm told I'm not drip. They think they're drip, whatever that means.
Okay.
Your reaction to the Jamarr Chase thing, what's this now mean for the Bengals?
It depends on how long it lasts. I mean, in 4 to 6 weeks, if it's 4 weeks, it really isn't earth-shattering, right? I mean, look at the schedule. One, they got a bye, and then they got a sort of bye because they play the likes of Carolina, and then they play Pittsburgh again. I forget who the other one is. Not that difficult. 4 weeks, you got 3 games and against 3 opponents they could beat without Jamarr Chase, in my opinion. If it goes 6 weeks, then they gotta go to Tennessee and win and beat Kansas City here without Chase, and that's a whole different story. Tough break. It's like we've said all year. Last year was a year where everything went right. This year's year with some of the things are not going right. How you respond to that, we'll find out on Monday. I mean, that said, 1, the Browns aren't very good. 2, they're beat up worse than the Bengals. And 3, for every week except 1, the Bengals once again will face either a backup quarterback or a really kind of suspect starting quarterback. So I think it breaks even out in the end. I don't think that the Chase loss will result in the Titanic. They're good enough to beat everybody they play in the next month without Jamarr Chase.
We had James Rapien on earlier. He covers the Bengals on a daily basis, and I thought he made a great point. And it's something you and I have talked about very early on. We talked about it, not as much lately, and that tends to happen when you win games instead of losing games. But the Bengals coaching staff clearly has been aware of this Jamarr Chase situation going back to even before the game last week when he initially injured it against New Orleans. They had to know when they began preparation for Cleveland this week, there was a really strong chance, at least inside the locker room there, that the Chase wasn't going to be around. So now all of a sudden, you may have heard, I use the word execution all the time because, in sports you either execute or you don't, and that's the difference between winning and losing, right, in life in general. But now all of a sudden I think that we're going to get a real look at what this coaching staff is capable of or not capable of in terms of what this offense looks like and game planning moving forward without Chase, however long that might be. You agree?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, other than a couple other guys in the league, Tyreek Hill being one, maybe Stephon Diggs, maybe even Cooper Kupp. He's a game changer. I mean, if a wide receiver would ever get MVP votes, maybe he gets a few. He's that good. That said, we've complained occasionally about Tyler Boyd not being utilized properly. Maybe he gets his chance to shine. Maybe Mike Thomas comes in and he's a hero for a week. Stanley Morgan, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. They haven't shown much yet and haven't had the opportunity. But sure, the Browns are 24th in the league, I think, against the run. Maybe Joe Mixon starts running like Joe Mixon again. They sure the staff has to be able to adapt to that and change and obviously understand that Chase is not part of the equation. But again, I go back to who they're playing. I don't think the Browns are very good. I think the Bengals can win this game without Chase, providing that everybody else does what he is capable of doing.
I want to shift gears and ask you about a couple of. Did you watch any of the Baltimore-Tampa Bay game last night?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
A little.
I got to tell you, Doc, and look, they're in arguably the worst division in the NFL, they being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, you know, stats can be deceiving. Brady throws for 320-something yards. He puts it up 44 times. He doesn't turn it over. But the bottom line is, man, I mean, and I hope I'm wrong because I'm a big Tom Brady fan. But, boy, I mean, he's missing passes last night, guys in the end zone that are open. And he's not only missing, he's missing badly. Beginning of the end, maybe, or too early to say?
You can look at it from two different angles. One, I saw a lot of balls he threw that went straight into the ground. Angle one is Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Never count Tom Brady out unless you want to look foolish. Angle two is Tom Brady at 45 isn't Tom Brady at 25 or even 35. The line he has blocking for him is just okay, really not that great. And yeah, I mean, at some point, time has to catch up to you, right? I mean, the good career for him would have been to retire after last year. That's easy to say now, but some of us said that then. Now, I don't know. They've got a long haul to get themselves out of the hole they're in now. I don't think there's anybody better suited on that roster than Tom Brady to do that. But you're right. If you watched him, and you watched him all year, not just last night, he's been a little off. And I think we talked about this before. He hears footsteps a lot. He always has. And when you hear footsteps, maybe you get rid of the ball too quickly. Maybe you make a bad decision or two. You don't wait for your receivers to get open. Maybe you can't because the rush is on you. I think that plays a big part, especially when you're a guy like Brady, who has never, even in his finest years, been the most mobile of guys.
We're going to have Bronson Arroyo on the show this coming Wednesday. He was elected to the Reds Hall of Fame, and I mean that's a landslide, no brainer. What a performer this guy was for the Reds. You know, I don't know how often Cincinnati gets labeled as being cool, but Bronson Arroyo, as you pointed out, and you were the first to point it out many years ago. He was cool. He is cool. He was cool to watch. He was fun to watch. And I think everybody who's ever spent literally 10 or 15 minutes around this guy, you couldn't be happier for somebody to have this recognition.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that made me glad I chose the career that I did. Just a regular guy. I mean, to me, cool guys are effortlessly cool. They don't have to work at it. They don't have to try to be cool. They don't have to demonstrate how cool they are. They just are. They let everybody else decide if they're cool. And Bronson was overwhelmingly cool, mainly because he didn't have to work at it. And he was a good dude to everybody. I mean, you and I both have seen guys in the manager's office and in the clubhouse who will warm up to you if you're someone well-known.
Yeah,
in the media.
Yep.
I remember Tommy Lasorda, may he rest in peace, who loved the national guys and was not great with the local beat guys. Bronson Arroyo would be nice to everybody. He was a regular dude. After I wrote that yesterday, I got tons of response from people who said, I remember when he showed up at my Boy Scouts camping trip and played guitar. I remember I hung out with him briefly in Goodyear or something, and nobody said this guy was a jerk, because he wasn't. And his cool, like I said, his cool was effortless. And to me, that's the key to being cool. So let me ask you this. Let's do cool, not cool for a second.
Yeah.
I say George Clooney and Dwayne Johnson. Who's cooler?
Oh, no contest. Not even close. Clooney. You agree or disagree?
No chance. I totally disagree.
You're kidding me.
I totally disagree.
I love Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson seems like a really cool guy. Seems like a good guy. But do you think that Clooney goes out of his way to try to be cool?
I think there's a bit of an act there. He's an actor.
Okay.
I think there's a
fair
sort
enough.
of a practiced cool around George Clooney. Nothing against George Clooney, but we're comparing him to one of the coolest guys ever, in my opinion, which is The Rock.
Guys, what do you think?
shown
Who's
that he can
cooler?
be
James,
cool.
Who's cooler, fellas? You chime in. You vote on this. What do you think?
Dwayne or
Clooney
Clooney?
or The Rock?
I would definitely say The Rock is
Okay.
cooler.
Paul?
If you know me, The Rock's my guy. I love Clooney.
All right, well, obviously, I'm in the minority. 3 out of 4, majority
There you
rules
go.
on that. Okay, all right. What else, Doc? You got 2 other names?
If you had to pick one guy to hang out with and be cool with on your desert island, Bronson Arroyo or Dusty Baker?
Arroyo. I like them both.
Baker.
They're both really cool.
I
think
do too.
you'd have
That's
great,
like M&M regular, M&M peanut, right? They're both great. I go with Dusty.
Yeah. I mean, look, both of them, you're going to have great conversations. You're going to have intelligent conversations. You're going to have deep conversations. And maybe the only reason Arroyo is because I think if you're stranded on a desert island, you got to have some music, and so he could at least strum a little music, I think, for you there. So that might
Well, Dusty
be
can't play music, but he knows music.
Yes, he does. He knows music very well, but if he doesn't have that little button to turn around and push it, he ain't going to play it. Whereas Arroyo could, he could we could take a couple of vines, take a couple of tree limbs, and now he's got something going, and at least you got some entertainment, right?
Or ask your panel to break the tie.
All right, fellas. Bronson Arroyo or Dusty Baker?
I think it'd probably have to be Bronson.
Okay.
Bronson.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So now we got to do best out of 3.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
For the
Well,
tie.
we got to
so-
come up with some guys now.
All right. Let's come on. All right. Let's say you're going to go out on the town, and I'm gonna make sure that we all just say that for one night, no one can bother these guys when you're out on the town. Okay, no paparazzi and no fans coming over and all that kind of stuff. But if you had to go out and just have a few beers and just hang out the whole night with a bunch of buddies, and you either had, let's see, Tom Brady
Okay.
or Joe Burrow.
That's really a no contest. That's not a fair fight.
Really?
Yeah, Joe Burrow by a mile.
Oh, yes.
You think
Wow.
Tom
Totally agree,
Brady would be
Doc.
a fun guy out on the town?
Dude, I'm telling you, Tom Brady is one of the. Now you talk about, and I've had a chance to be around him in we used to go in to do NFL games, and he would come in, and the only people that would be sitting in there would be him and me, and in some cases Troy Aikman, and other cases Chris Spielman, whoever it might be, Brian Billick, whatever it might be. I got to tell you, Tom Brady is one of the coolest guys I have ever been around in my life.
I think just getting to see him
I
from all
haven't had
the
that pleasure, so I'll yield to your
Okay. All right. Well, but
expertise.
Burrow would be a good one. Paul, you're the tie break here, or we may not have a tie break if you pick Brady.
I don't. That's just all the history that Brady's done over the years. I feel like it would be that Super Bowl parade that Brady and all the fun. Oh man, I don't know if I could pass up
Brady's flipping the Super Bowl trophy across water and boat to boat, right?
Yeah, but he had his best bud there, Gronkowski. If you would have asked me Gronkowski on Joe Burrow, I might have picked Gronkowski in that.
I think if you're looking for stories and like you're going to like if you're going to like the Blind Lemon for a night and you're just sitting around the fire and you're talking, I'm gonna take Tom Brady. But if you're going to like the club and you're going to the music,
dude, you're getting way too.
Then you're going
to
you're going to Burrow.
Way too much, you got to
pick one.
Just pick one for God's sakes.
I got to pick Brady.
Okay.
Okay, so we're tied.
We're still tied.
Arroyo.
I luckily
Go ahead,
I made a poll for the chat to decide between Joe Burrow and Tom Brady.
Well, our chat is, of course. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's actually a lot closer than you would think. It's 70-30.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
What about Daniel Craig or George Clooney?
Who?
James Bond. Daniel Craig.
There's only one James Bond.
Daniel Craig.
No. Okay, how about Sean Connery or Dwayne Johnson?
Oh.
Now, Doc, I'm throwing you for a little bit of a loop here at your age.
Yeah. Very hard to go against the original James Bond, for God's sake. I mean, I'd have to go with Sean Connery.
I know you two young guys are taking The Rock. That's a no-brainer. Okay, we're still in a tie here. I mean, we got to let Doc go. He's got to work for a living.
All right. Well, let's cook one up here. Let's get one more. Let's get a tiebreaker. Let's see. I'm trying to take one from the chat. Let's see. Who? Oh man, I'm trying to think. Who would be more? Okay.
All right, how about this one?
Okay,
how about this one? I got it. All right. How about Gronk or Bronson Arroyo?
For what?
Hanging out.
Just hanging out?
Hanging out.
Oh, Gronk.
Doc?
Arroyo.
I am too. We're never going to
I don't need to go to a club and like wear a lampshade on my head or break a bottle on my forehead. I don't want that kind of fun.
I agree.
I want more of a laid back, mellow, mature. I'm not perpetual 18-year-old freshman in college fun. I don't want that.
That's right. That's why this will never end, because you two guys are going to pick the young guy, and Doc and I are going to take Sean Connery.
Sean Connery or Frank Sinatra?
Oh.
Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley?
Frank.
Oh.
Now we're really getting old.
Oh,
Elvis.
Man.
No, Elvis.
Frank.
Elvis.
You say Frank. You
Elvis.
say Elvis. Doc, who you taking?
Frank.
Thank you.
I'd have gone Elvis.
Oh, let's go, Thom.
Let's
go, Thom.
This will never end.
Come
this
on.
will never end. No, we're done. We're done. Doc, we'll look for the morningline.substack.com. This has been fun. We've gotten off a little sports and serious and having a little fun. I want each of us, the four of us, to think of, when we have Doc back next week, we have to come up with at least 3 or 4 more pairings. Okay?
Yeah. We got it.
So give it some thought. Doc, thanks for the time, my man.
All right, boys. See you
right.
later.